what a bargain from shop.whatculture.com. Oh, hello, mate.
Morning, mate. How are you doing? You alright?
Yeah, good. How are you? How's your week been?
Yeah, good. Yeah, bit crazy, mate.
Yeah?
Crazy. Obviously, first video went out and stuff.
Oh, yeah, NXT takeaway. How did it go?
That's the one, yeah. You know what it is? It was pretty good. I think most people were like kind of into it. Obviously, you're going to get the negative stuff, whatever. Kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah, typical comment section, eh?
Yeah, man, comments. You know, I've thought about it, man, and I just think you can't really let stuff like that get you. You've just got to kind of get on with it, let it go over your head, and eventually, you know, you'll be alright.
Good luck with that, mate.
Hello and welcome to the NXT Takeaway. As always, I'm your host, Adam Nicholas, and once again, I'm going to be taking you through the latest and greatest of this week's episode of NXT. So let's not waste any more time. I know you guys are busy. You have these incredibly interesting lives to lead, I'm sure. Lots of stuff to do with things and stuff and work and other bits that we don't really care about, but we do anyway because it's sterile and we like the taste. What am I talking about? Never mind. Let's get cracking with the perfect 10. So number one, we had Ruby Riott versus the Iconic Duo, and it's same as the last time. Ruby Riott turned up without a tag partner. I wonder who could possibly come to help her in this tag match. I mean, it couldn't possibly, maybe it couldn't be Nikki Cross again, could it? No, it couldn't. They wouldn't do that, would they? Yes, they did it again, and of course they did it again because it's great. The Grebo gals, the pasty pals, coming in there and really giving it a go as a tag team. She doesn't like her. She doesn't like her. Why does she keep turning up? I don't know. Do you know? I haven't got a clue, but I'm not against it because they're the kind of perfect polar opposites. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, who are really kind of like these pretty girls, big, long, tall, like makeup and all that kind of thing. And then you got Nikki Cross and Ruby Riott, who are just badasses. They're kind of like, they're not supposed to be like, they're not normal, conventional girls. They're like, they've got the tattoos and they've got the dark hair and the gothic-y look going on. We like it. We're involved with it. Keep it coming. So at number two, we had the Lars Sullivan backstage promo. This one was a bit more interesting for me. Lars, big, nasty fucking man, like scary, nasty looking. Think about Braun Strowman, kind of similar character, yeah? Braun's very much like, oh, I'm Braun and Braun and stuff. You think, oh, Lars Sullivan, he's going to be pretty similar, isn't he? Completely different. Totally took me by surprise, but in the best possible way. It was almost like Lars was coming across like this real, in control, out of control lunatic. He was speaking very eloquently, saying words like unequivocally and categorically. I was really thinking of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing going on. Like on the surface, he looks normal and relaxed in this interview and he's very well spoken. But then you see him in the ring and he's this madman, lunatic, absolutely destroying people. And I want to see more of that. I think that's great. That's such a good twist because it could have been so easy to say, oh, we'll make another Braun Strowman for NXT. In at number three, we had the interview with Zelina Vega, who's obviously Andrade Cien Almas's manager. They really seem to be enjoying these back like promos where they've got the guys going like, hey, can we get a word? Can we get a word? It's like you got arms literally coming out of all different places with microphones and also phones. Look, social media, we're in touch. She announced her reaction to Johnny Gargano's rematch, and it was very much a reaction that sort of said, he's not worthy of us, we're going to beat him. But then more importantly, she got home the fact that they want to build towards the NXT championship. It's going to be a very slow build if he does get there. But I think Andrade Cien Almas is extremely underrated, and as a heel with Zelina Vega in his corner, I think he could be going places. At number four, it was announced there's going to be a 6-man tag team match between Sanity and Undisputed Era. Now, obviously, this has been building for the last few weeks. They started to allude to this last week, obviously, during the match between Adam Cole and Eric Young. There was a lot of the clashing between the two teams. I'm really looking forward to that match. That's going to be great. And I think, yeah, you've got the two biggest teams probably in the division in NXT who are going to come up against each other. That's only going to be good. So in at number five, we had the debut of Lio Rush. Or did we? Sadly not. I personally haven't seen that much of Lio Rush, and I was really looking forward to his debut so I could get a flavour for who this guy is. Sadly, I was denied that. Thank you very much to the Velveteen Dream. Now I have to say it's not all hate because I am really enjoying where the Velveteen Dream Aleister Black storyline's going. Aleister Black and Lio Rush were meant to be having a match against one another. The Velveteen Dream got involved, beat up Lio Rush, left him in a heap on the floor and delivered his patented Purple Rain maker and smashed Lio Rush. I have to say it was a bit shit because I really wanted to see Lio Rush debut. However, the advancement of the storyline between Black and Velveteen Dream was great. I like this sexual tension we've got going on between these two guys. Dream continues to demand Black's attention. Black continues to refuse to give him it. Who's going to give in first? I've got a feeling it's not going to be Aleister Black, because Aleister Black strikes me as the kind of guy who could sit on a mountain for 3 weeks just dreaming about coffins and death and skulls and rad tattoos. In at number 6, we had the debut of Kairi Sane. Now, I personally have been looking forward to this because obviously having seen her in the Mae Young Classic, I wanted to see how the NXT universe was going to react to her. Fortunately, it seems like they're going to get behind Kairi Sane. This was the first stepping stone towards building Kairi Sane as a main event player, and I think she's going to only get more matches like this moving towards TakeOver Houston, where obviously we're going to start seeing that fatal 4-way women's championship match come together. Kairi Sane's got the charisma, and I don't think the language barrier is going to be a problem because she's very emotive in her actions and body language, and I really think the NXT universe are going to stay strongly behind her. Tying it together nicely with the women's fatal 4-way that's going to be happening at TakeOver Houston, it was announced that next week we're going to have the first qualifying match to find out who's going to be one of the other 3 competitors in that match. We've got Nikki Cross is going to be taking on Peyton Royce and Liv Morgan, so that's going to be an interesting match, and it'll be interesting to see who they're going to go with moving forward. For me, if I was to guess, I would say it might be Nikki Cross, but if Billie Kay is involved, Sneaky Billy of the iconic duo, then yes, I have a feeling we might be in for some shenanigans. Next up, one of 2 moments that made the list from the Drew McIntyre-Roderick Strong match. The first one of these came from Roderick Strong, who got Drew McIntyre into a backbreaker and smashed him onto the steel steps outside. Oh, Drew McIntyre sold it like a dream, as he did throughout the match, and it really sort of told the story well of Roddy working at the back of Drew McIntyre, trying to get his base chopped down. And the second moment that happened in that match was the flip reverse. We had Drew McIntyre with the assault on the outside of the ring. This time he had Roddy Strong in a powerbomb, literally fucking chucked him off the ring post. Strong smashed into it. These 2 guys tore it up, and it really was worth seeing. And in at the perfect 10, of course, once again, somehow, they weren't even involved at all in the episode, but somehow Undisputed Era have made it to the perfect 10 spot. We saw a great match. It ended with the classic handshake, respect. I respect you, but I'm not done. I'm coming for you. Wrestling. And then just as Roderick Strong was walking up the ramp, Undisputed Era came slowly out from behind the curtain. The thing it seems to be pointing towards is, where is Roderick Strong's head at? He's obviously pursuing this NXT title blindly, as he has been since Bobby Roode was the champion. And you kind of get that sense that he's a guy who really wants to win it, especially now that they've tied in this story with his family, they've built him up. Is his pursuit of the title going to have him choosing between Undisputed Era and Drew McIntyre? Now it's time to move on to our Q&A section, which I like to call the Twitter Takeover. So our first question today comes from Robert Warren 1983. Look, no iPad, no reading, just going from memory. What a guy. He says, when do you think the Authors of Pain will be going up to the main roster, and will Paul Ellering be going with them? Now that's a big question, but unfortunately I feel like the answer has already been given. Kind of. But yes, Triple H announced via his Twitter account that NXT's next pay-per-view will be called NXT TakeOver War Games. Obviously, this is exciting news for anybody who is a fan of WCW, and it's something that Triple H has been trying to get done for quite some time. The news seems to be that one of the matches on that pay-per-view is going to be involving the Authors of Pain, the big nasty bastards of Paul Ellering. My guess would be that probably Paul Ellering and the boys are going to have that match, put over whoever's going to be in the match with them, and then probably slowly make their way over to the main roster. The next question comes from Wrestling Bram, and they want to know, is Aleister Black going to become the NXT champion, or will he be going up to the main roster before then? Very good question, and one I've pondered myself, because Aleister Black has got a lot of potential. To my knowledge, if I'm not mistaken, he's still undefeated, and it'll be interesting to see if they're going to end that streak at all. He seems to be kicking ass and taking names. Obviously, at the moment, he's going into this little thing with the Velveteen Dream. However, it'll be interesting to see where he would go after that, because obviously I feel like Black's going to win that, but it's going to elevate the Dream. But then also, Aleister Black's main aim has got to be going after the NXT title, you would imagine. Could you see him beating Drew McIntyre? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to get that far. I think that Aleister Black is probably going to get called up before he gets a chance to fight for the NXT title. And our last question comes from Mummified Thund. I think Thund? Almost as if they've run out of the R at the end. Who knows? But it comes from Mummified Thund, and they want to know, who is your favourite NXT champion? But I'm also not allowed, apparently, to pick Finn, Shin, Joe, or Bobby. So Drew McIntyre is the champ at the moment. I really like him, but if I'm being honest, I've got to go old school, because I've been watching NXT for a while. I've seen a few of the champs, and I'm guessing the question pertains to the people who've been champion before. I'm guessing that's how I'm going to interpret it. If I had to choose out the guys who are left in that selection, I think I'm going to have to go with Sami Zayn, only because of how incredible of a moment it was when he actually finally won the championship. It was amazing to see the struggle that went on. He'd really been built as this character who was kind of the second best, the bridesmaid. He was never going to quite get there. Every time he just seemed to be about to get there, he just fell flat. And then when he finally won it, what a moment that was. Beating Neville, and the whole, and obviously in the end it was ruined by Kevin Owens, but the whole locker room coming out to see him, and it was all great. And he's got a badass ginger beard, and there's nothing wrong with that. So as always, thanks for your questions, guys. Looking forward to answering some more of them next week. Let's move on then to the final section, which we all know, or have certainly come to know, and if you don't know, now you know, the takeaway. Now, you know what, I'm going to try and say that a bit better, because last time I said the takeaway, and it sounded really shit, and I want it to be a bit more grandiose, so the takeaway. Okay, there was a few picks this week, obviously a little nod to Drew McIntyre and Roderick Strong's match, but the big takeaway for me this week is the advancement in the storyline between Aleister Black and the Velveteen Dream. It really feels to me like Patrick Clark has finally found the character that's going to work for him. The big question I want to ask is he going to be able to replicate how good of a character he's starting to get with his in-ring performances? I'm sure Aleister Black could probably bring a great match out of him. I think the chemistry between the two guys is great. I really like that Patrick Clark seems to have, the Velveteen Dream seems to have that kind of gold dust quality about him, where he's very sexual. Oh, that felt good. And while I think it's probably going to end with a Black victory, I'd really like to see how much it can elevate Velveteen Dream. That's I guess what's the big aim here, is to make him look great, look like a character who we can buy into as an actual threat. And I guess we're going to see it in the coming weeks. So that's it for this week's episode of the NXT Takeaway. Thanks for stopping by. If you wouldn't mind, please keep the comments coming in the comments section. Really useful feedback, guys, and I do pay attention, so you are being heard. With that said, I have been your host, Adam Nicholas. Thanks for stopping by, and with any luck, I'll see you next time.